Days are filled with sorrow and care, hearts are lonely and drear. Burdens are lifted at Calvary, Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary, Calvary, Calvary. Burdens are lifted at Calvary, Jesus is very near. Cast your care on Jesus today. Leave your worry and fear. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Calvary, Calvary. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Troubled soul, the Savior can see every heartache and tear. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Calvary, burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Let's go over to Redeemed. 338. The other Redeemed. 338. Redeemed, now I love to proclaim it. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed through His infinite mercy. His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, now I love to proclaim it. His child and forever I am. I think of my blessed Redeemer. I think of Him all the day long. I sing, for I cannot be silent. His love is my theme of my song. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, now I love to proclaim it. His child and forever I am. I know I shall see His beauty, the King in whose law I delight, who lovingly guardeth my footsteps and giveth me songs in the night. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, now I love to proclaim it. His child and forever I am. It's time for a... Oh, you are, okay.
Good morning. That's kind of what a testimony is, right? It's who I am, where I came from, why I'm here, and what God did for me. But you can't tell who you are without that. Well, I grew up, I was actually born over here in Roseville, but when I was a year old, my parents moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. I don't remember any of that, of course. And then they moved to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where if you didn't handle your laundry correctly, it would mold and mildew because it's so humid there. And I don't remember much about that, just a little bit. I remember visiting someone who had a parakeet. I was probably about 3 years old. And this parakeet listened to the radio, and it was a good Adventist woman who owned it, so she listened to a lot of Voice of Prophecy. And the parakeet would burst out with, "Jesus is coming again, are you ready? The seventh day is the Sabbath." Anyway, this parakeet listened to the radio and was able to rattle it back. So it was the most evangelical parakeet that I've ever known. And then we moved to Shreveport, Louisiana, where my mother worked as assistant to the treasurer of the conference. So I spent a lot of those very early years in the conference office with Mother. Fell against her desk, you know, that glass layer about 1/4 of an inch thick, cut my head. Remember getting my first tetanus shot, thinking I'd been killed. Anyway, my parents were very devout Seventh-day Adventists. My mother used to read as I got a little bit older, maybe 7, 8 years old. She would read Great Controversy for bedtime. I've told you that before. And, you know, read about the reformers. And it was actually very good for me because my vocabulary really increased. You know, they've rewritten a lot of Ellen White books because they think the vocabulary is too hard. Well, Mom read it just the way it was written, and I would say, "Well, what does that word mean?" And she would tell me. And when you're 7 years old, you remember those things on one telling. Nowadays, I can try to learn a new word, and it's gone the next day. But my worldview was set as a child that there is a great war between good and evil. And I think that is the best thing that my parents gave me. Because when you have an accurate understanding of the fact that the world's events are all cast in the shadow of this war, you really have an understanding of what makes the world go round. And in some ways, I think when I was 10 years old, because of my early home education, that I had a better understanding of current events than a lot of PhDs do. And I don't say that in bragging. It's just, you know, people wonder, why has America got these problems? You know, I would have known as a child why America has the problems it has. It's because they have given up on God. So, you know, I was a very sensitive child. I got skipped into the 4th grade when I was 7 years old, and that wasn't cool. My dad was so proud of me, how smart I was, but the truth is that it was harmful to me because when you're 7-year-old living with 9-year-olds, it's hard. It's hard. And you're the smallest kid, but it wasn't as hard as it could have been because I was in a 10-grade one-room school. And so all the kids were in one room from 15 down to 6. With one teacher, the best teacher I ever had, Mrs. Martin. And that church school that I went to taught me the truth about God, and it taught me the truth about how I came to be here through a creation rather than an evolution. It taught me well. In the little rural Arkansas school, I got the background that I needed for all the education I got later. Then I went to academy at Ozark Academy, and because of some health problems, again, a very sensitive person, I missed a lot of school, and I ended up testing out of a bunch of stuff to finish to finish high school in 4 years, and went to Southwestern, what's now Southwestern Adventist University, called by many of the people who go there SWAU, S-W-A-U, SWAU. And I know when Eric Anderson was president there, he hated the word SWAU, and he was trying to change that culture. I don't know if he succeeded or not. But I studied mathematics, music, business, and computer science while there. There at Southwestern, they have a minor. You have to do a minor along with your major. And I had 3 minors: computer science, music, and business, along with the major in mathematics. All my life, from the time I was probably around 12 years old, I had this premonition that I would have a part in the gospel, the spreading of the gospel before the end of the world. I still have that feeling. I don't think I'm dead yet, and I think the Lord is coming soon, and I hope to have a role in being faithful when the world is completely upside down. In college, as I said, I got a degree in mathematics, and yet I was still very tuned into spiritual things. And by the way, I want to tell you, I don't think that was a mistake. You know, sometimes people want to ask me, well, you know, you've had a rather strange path to where you are. Do you think you made wrong decisions? And I always say no. I don't think so. I think my steps in education were what God wanted. I went to Oklahoma State University after that. I was still in mathematics and earned a master's degree in mathematics. And then I switched to statistics because I wanted to do something that was more practical. Mathematics is practical, but mathematicians rarely are. Now that's an interesting statement, but the world of mathematics has brought all the tools that engineering and physics use to understand the universe and to build things. But the mathematicians who did it rarely cared a hoot about whether it was useful or not. Mathematics is mind games. And it's hard for me to try to express that to non-mathematicians, but mathematicians enjoy blocking out the world and thinking and creating structures, logical structures in their minds and on their papers, and it is truly a game. It is deliciously fun for those who have, right, Samir? For those who have experienced. What most people think is mathematics isn't mathematics, it's arithmetic. Arithmetic is not mathematics. It's far, far grander than computation. So I have no regrets, because what I bring to the pulpit today is grounded in what I learned in mathematics and statistics. Because logic, when God says to us in Isaiah, "Come, let us reason together," I believe that He built our abilities to reason logically. And if you haven't noticed, this world is largely devoid of logical reason. It really is. People are taking nonsensical, contradictory positions in their own worldview. And to a mathematician, it's insane. People keep doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. And that's the definition of insanity. And I thank the Lord for my education because it's given me a training in thinking well. And I hope that is part of my ministry. Well, I was in graduate school, and I really, Liz, this should be more than one time up here. I'll cut it and she'll bring me back. So my first real challenge to my spirituality did not come until I was about 23 years old, 22, 23, and in graduate school, sharing an office with a young man named Robert Moyer, who became a good friend of mine, also working on a master's degree in mathematics. And one day he asked me, "Why are you a Christian?" That's a good question, isn't it? Why are you a Christian? And then he gave me multiple choice. Are you a Christian because it makes you feel better? Are you a Christian because you really believe it's true? Well, obviously that first one's a loaded option, right? Because it makes you feel better. The implication of that is, okay, you don't even believe necessarily that it's the truth, but hanging on to it as truth gives you this hope and this good feeling. Well, I said, give me a day and I'll think about it. And I thought about it and I went back and I said, yeah, it does make me feel better to believe I have eternal life, but I also believe it's true. And I tried to explain to him some of the reasons that I believed it was true. Among them are the fact that the Bible describes human nature better than any other source. The Bible says we are desperately wicked. The human heart is desperately wicked, and who can know it? All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. All we like sheep have gone astray. That's the first thing the Bible teaches us, and as I look around the world, it's correct. I haven't met a perfect person yet. Have you? And I never will. On this earth, we are flawed. We are flawed by definition, the Bible tells us. Second thing the Bible tells us is we're not going to fix our own problem, that we have to have outside intervention. And I believe that with all my heart. I believe that is a fact about people. You can go to any bookstore, if you can find any anymore, because it's all online now pretty much. But a bookstore has a self-help section. And I like going through there and just looking over what they've got. And it is not going to help that much. It really isn't. I'm okay, you're okay. That was a famous book. And how many people in America think the other half is okay? The book didn't work. You're crazy. You don't believe in climate change. Or you're crazy. You do believe in climate change. So I find in the Bible a diagnosis of our problem and a solution to our problem. And there are many other reasons I'm a Christian that I was able to share with him, and my time is up. So we'll come back. We'll come back at when I'm 27. In September, when I'm still 65, but we'll be talking about when I'm 27.